Good morning, fifth graders. I'm Mrs. Anopa from Oreo Lane, fifth grade teacher. I am excited to explain to you this week of social studies work. You have been researching and learned about the 3 regions and a little about each of the 13 colonies. This week, you will select one colony to research and become an expert on. You're going to show us your choice on this Google form called Colony Choice, selecting one of the colonies that you want to research more closely. We will get that information and have it to use throughout this week. Your next job will be to look at our template we made for you to keep track of all your notes. It's called Researching a Colony. We have put in here places for you to research. So there's a link in here called Resources. If you click on this link, it will take you to student resources that we've selected for you. So if you chose Pennsylvania, you have safe places that you can go and you can find information on. Every colony is on here. They are kind of organized by region. I do want to point out that the L next to some of the links have this L next to them, and that means that that is a listening link. It is a place where you can click and watch, and it allows you to click listen and follow along while someone reads the information to you. So I think this should help you with your research for the colony that you choose. Take it away.
Okay, hello, fifth graders. This is Miss Mitchell from Wilson, and I'm going to walk you through this document called Researching a Colony. I'm going to read to you the directions because sometimes we just don't read directions, but we will read them together. Here we go. You're going to use a new resource each day to learn more about the colony. So it doesn't mean you need to do, you have to do it each day. However, it means you need to have 3 resources. So maybe this is a week-long assignment. So maybe you want to do 1 resource a day to go through. You will need to have 2 pieces of information under each row. So when you say, when it says geography, land and climate, you need to have 2 pieces of information that describe the land and climate. What was it like and how did it influence their way of life? So using 2 resources. Now, remember the note here, the same information should not be recorded in multiple places. Meaning if I used a resource and I found out that the land had glaciers that pulled away all of the soil and that was not good for farming, I would put that maybe on geography and land and climate for one. And I used another resource and found that area had very short growing season. I would put that on my other row for land and climate. And you're understanding that we're not going to duplicate off of our resources. Please utilize under each category, you're going to need to have 2 describing details. So under history, we have guiding questions for you. Founder and why, economic activities, how did they make their living? What was the environment like and the resources that they could use when they're up in the New England colonies? We have whaling. Did they use that? And take a look at how the ocean and the sea life really impacted their way of life up there. Citizenship, law and government. Who was able to vote? Did they hold town meetings? Were they self-governing? How did the influence of the laws and government influence their daily life? We have culture, way of life. Were they on farms? Were they artisans? Did they city life? How much did religion play a role? Did they live on plantations or in the backland? Historical significance. This is a big one, guys. This is how did that colony influence the way we live today? take a look at their influence with regard to how they look at religion. Is there freedom of a religion, or was it one specific religion that was there? And then we're looking at glossary of key terms. Each colony is a part of a region, and in those regions we have certain vocabulary that is specific to that colony. Like we said, whaling, there's colonies that have indentured servants, there's the Mayfair Compact. So please include a glossary of key terms on that. So this document is helping to guide you to get the right research that you need. Again, you need to use 3 resources, and you need to have 2 describing details within each of those subtopics. Now, Mrs. Gruby-Thur is going to talk to you about how do we go about doing our research and understanding the main idea.
Hello, historians and readers. I just want to remind you that today you have heard about some opportunities to engage in some research. But I want to remind you of your great AVID and reading strategies, the things that we always do to be successful in getting main ideas and understanding text. So one of the first things that you're going to think about is setting a purpose. Ms. Mitchell mentioned many topics that you can focus on and questions that you can actually think about as you're reading. Remember to orient to the text and think about those important topics and questions. We're going to where it's number 1, that's setting your purpose. Number 2 is we know it's important to read a chunk of information, looking for those key words and phrases. Ms. Mitchell mentioned those key words like self-government, House of Burgesses, charter. As you're reading to that, think about those specialized terms and those important key ideas that pop out, because you're going to really think about the main idea or the best way to describe this colony that you're researching. Read that chunk, take those key ideas and those words, and really think closely about how can I explain my colony. Another thing that you can look at is you'll see a template that might help you on collecting some information. It's called Get a Gist. This document walks you through scanning the page, orienting yourself, reading a paragraph, and thinking about what is this mainly about. And then when you look at those most important pieces of information, I'd invite you to either highlight them or circle them after you've written them on that chart that Ms. Mitchell has described. We believe in your abilities. You're going to find lots of great information about your colony, and later you'll hear about how you'll be sharing it out. But this week, focus on those topics and those main ideas to really describe for another reader, a listener, what your colony is all about. We look forward to hearing about it.